With this task, we're going to be looking at how collaborative writing and effective communication can be taught together. Remembering that communication is a common competency within multiple frameworks when we are teaching. So, what does it look like, and how do we teach students how to learn how to communicate together? What does that look like? Remembering that effective collaboration begins and ends with communication. So, through effective communication, students can exchange ideas and insights. They can work through misunderstandings, absorb their content, and really truly help each other achieve true understanding of the information or content that they're working with. How do we embed this process of communication strategy together? And to learn this skill, we need to understand that students must be involved with the process itself. So, are we as teachers then demonstrating to students and helping them learn the process of communication with their own strategies that we are guiding them with? What we really need to do is to be able to provide a successful collaborative environment where students can learn how to communicate freely and directly, to support their team members, and to value each other's contributions. One place that we're going to look at today is the ability to use Google Docs and creating a hyperdoc within it. So, really leading them on their journey of collaborating, but learning how to communicate and what that looks like along the way. So, what you see within here is that we're within an online environment. And in here, they can see by colors who's in, they can see who's communicating, who's talking to one another, and even having that chat feature on the side that can really step outside the document and be able just to guide them and maybe help them brainstorm or create some due dates, whatever it is they may be doing. But what we're going to be taking you through today is what a task may look like when you are connecting the collaborative writing piece and being able to teach them how to communicate together. So we're going to go into the hyperdoc. So students will be given this link here, and what you see is when they come in, they're going to be led through their expectations as well. Remembering that when you're online, you still need to have that focus and goals so the students know what they're working on. So here we know that they're working on a collaborative writing assignment and how it relates to communication. So really making the students aware that they're not only working on their collaborative writing piece, but you're also going to be assessing and looking at what it means to communicate and how well they're communicating as a team. So one way that we're going to work through this is being able to understand the parts of the writing process and how they can use the different parts to communicate their thinking with shared collaborators. One thing when you are talking about communication, it's really important for them to understand what it is you're assessing and what it is you're looking at when it comes to communicating. So one thing you may do is be able to embed that idea of some key points that they should be working through and what it means, what it looks like. This is a blended environment, so you would obviously be having this discussion within class as well, but also providing those reminders within here. So for this lesson, they're working through the 7 C's of communication. And they also have here a video to watch that goes over and gives them clear kind of points of what it means to be clear or concise or concrete. And for them to kind of look at that, and you probably would have a discussion outside of that in another forum, either face-to-face or online if it was a completely online course. So reminding them, obviously, that communication is the process of creating and exchanging our thoughts, ideas, as we said before, and really helping them understand that. So setting it up that you're going to be looking at their communication as well as their ability to write collaboratively together as a group and what that looks like. As we link in within our hyperdoc, you want them not only to have their focus and their goal and some kind of review of communication, but also you want to set up the criteria and expectations and assignment description. So you can see as a hyperdoc, I can link over and students can go in at any time and be able to see that they're working on an editorial. Here you see their goals as well. They know that they're working on a controversial issue, creating an editorial, but also that their other goal is how to communicate their thoughts and ideas clearly and working through the writing process. So you're helping them understand what that looks like, what it means to work as a team, their writing plan, possible topics, and some key roles they might want to undertake when they are working as a team. So getting them set up and what that may look like. As we move back in, we also see that we link to criteria. So you're going to see here a Google slide, and then I have basically leading them through what they need to discuss as a group. Again, bringing up the 7 C's of communication, reviewing what that means to them, what good writing may look like, and also some sort of rubrics that I'm going to be assessing them with in the end, and how that may look. So just a quick idea of that they have everything they need within this HyperDoc in order to lead through their assignment, but also you're focusing not only on the assignment and the collaborative work, but on how they're communicating. So here you can see that I'm leading them through making a plan, and they have their questions that they need to develop, what they're going to be thinking about, and really being able to practice in this first stage what it means to communicate using those 7 C's. So in the first part, they're making a plan, and I'm just going to go in here quickly. And you can see that on the Google drawing here, we have the idea that they're writing down their group roles, who's going to take what, as well as the issue that they've chosen and maybe some key points that they've researched together. And making a list of communication skills that are important to use as a group. So even coming together after watching the video and in their first pre-writing, not only thinking about the key ideas and the roles, but also thinking about maybe some key things that they need as a group to communicate and what works for them, and really brainstorming how that's going to come together in that piece. So really remembering that we're connecting the idea of collaborating, but also consistently reminding them that they need to communicate. So seeing here that the importance of that you're actually facilitating that idea of how they're learning how to communicate together. And as they work through this, at the end of each stage, you'll see a stop and reflect. When we click on this little button here, it brings you to a Google form. Within each stage of the Google form, the student's going to have their name, the group name, the date in which they're completed the process, which process they're in, so they're filling that out. And now, individually, they're going to go in and they're going to think about how they communicated with their group, and they're going to go through the 7 C's. So here again, you see that they're working through the idea of communication as they're collaborating. So they're thinking and answering these questions for that specific stage. So they're thinking of their pre-writing stage. They want to know if they were clear, and they rate themselves on a scale, and they go through each of the 7 C's and they submit it in. So that's one part, that they're consistently reflecting on that. You're making them think about how they're communicating, and you're hoping by the end they know that they're coming back to this form. They're going to be taking a look at it, and they're hopefully in each stage really remembering, oh yes, you know, I have to be make sure that my message is concrete, or I want to be concise. I don't want to have too much information. I want to make sure that my group members understand what I'm saying or what I'm going to be doing next. So really, as they move through it, you're hoping that they're not only improving the research that they're bringing in, but improving the way that they communicate, because they're consistently going back, being reminded and reflecting on this skill itself. So you'll see in this HyperDoc that it brings them through each stage, that they work through their doc together. They have instructions for what they're supposed to be doing. Really important when you're online that you help lead them, facilitate, because you're not always there, obviously, to answer the questions for them. So you want to set up a guide for them, and consistently you're seeing that stop and reflect on our 7 C's. So we're going through, you see that they're using Google Docs to revise, they're learning some new skills. Here they're being reminded of communication in the revision stage. And maybe something that may stand out a little bit different than the 7 C's, but something that would really help them in this stage, how they're going to listen to each other. Because sometimes when editing and revising, it can create conflicts when we're communicating and not being able to agree. So helping them realize that this is a common thing, what they could do if they have disagreements, or what that may look like. And at the end of this stage, again, having that ability to reflect on the 7 C's and move back. We're editing, stopping and reflecting, and then creating something with a publishing, giving them choice and tools, the ability to do their own, and then finally the reflection on the 7 C's again. So what you're consistently seeing then is that they are working through their collaborative writing assignment, but consistently being reminded of the communication process and how to improve that along the way, because it will help them in the future and with many other tasks that they're doing within their online environment or face to face.